Hi, friends. Today we are going to talk about how to make clothes. Miss Bratton, oh, I know it sounds crazy, friends, but clothes are made, and we're going to learn how to make them today. Let's talk about sewing. Sewing is how they take the material or the cloth and stitch it together to make our clothes. So let's start with the needle. Oh, no, 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 no. Not a needle like a doctor. We don't want any shots today. We're talking about a sewing needle. Hold on, let me show you. So I have my needles, friends. I have a curved or a hooked needle, and I have a straight needle. If you look very closely, you will see that there's a tiny hole in my needle. We call that the eye of the needle. Let me show you what we do with the eye of the needle. Now, friends, this is called a spool of thread. Thread wrapped around this thing we can turn, or a cylinder shape, is called a spool of thread. So when you buy thread, you buy a spool. We're going to use black thread today. I have a spool, a large spool. That's right, friends. You remember the last one was medium size. This one is large. So we take our spool of thread and we turn and we take our thread off. There, I'm going to take a piece of thread. Thread is a special string we use to sew. It's very thin. It's not very large or thick. It's very thin. So we're going to take this thread and we are going to thread the eye of that needle. So we have to be very, very careful. Okay, friends, here is my needle that's already threaded. I pull the thread through and I even it up. And at the very end, I tie the two ends. Let's see, I'm going to show you. I tie the two ends together and make a little knot right at the end. So I can have my thread nice and secure. All right, so I have my needle, and this sewing method is called hand sewing. I'm going to sew using my hand, needle, and thread. Now, I have some clothes. These are a pair of shorts that my son likes to wear. But oh no, friends, there's a hole in his shorts. So should I throw them away? He can still fit these shorts. They still fit. There's a way we can fix them. We could sew it by hand. So when we sew by hand, I'm going to take the shorts and I'm going to turn them inside out. When you're sewing, you want to sew on the other side of the cloth. You see the difference? I can't see the colors as well. So what I'm going to do is I see this hole here. See that hole? I'm going to take the two flaps and I'm going to press them together. See why they're pressed together? I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to press it on through. Get there. And I'm going to pull that thread all the way through. And sew it. Now we're coming to the end of the hole. We've made our stitches all the way across. So when we get to the last part of that hole, I'm going to take my needle through and I'm going to go in the same spot about 3 times. I did 1, that's 2, and then 1 more, same spot, 3, and pull through. Then we're going to get our scissors and we're going to cut the thread because we're finished sewing up our hole. After we're finished sewing that hole, we're going to flip this pair of shorts on the other side so we can see if the hole is now closed. So I'm going to turn these shorts right side out. And look, friends, we sewed the hole closed. The hole is now closed and we fixed our clothes. We closed the hole and fixed our clothes. Oh my goodness, friends, we sewed that together. Now, friends, I want to show you how we sew on a machine. When you need to fix a whole shirt, or you have a big hole to fix, or you want to make some pants or a shirt or a skirt, you want to sew a little bit faster. And sewing by hand might take us a little bit longer. So if you want to make things faster, we're going to sew on a machine. And I want to show you how a sewing machine works. Come on. This is a sewing machine. It's a machine made to sew and made to sew really, really fast. If you look on top of the sewing machine, you will see a spool of white thread. Remember, our thread is what we use to stitch the material together. And you can see different numbers on the sewing machine to show you the pattern that you want to sew. And it also shows how long or short your stitch will be. Where is the needle on the machine? Whoa! You found it, friends. The sewing machine also has a needle. When you're sewing, you must be very, very careful not to stick yourself with the needle. Do you see the hole or the eye of this needle? Awesome, friends. You spotted the sewing needle and the small hole or the eye of the needle. Friends, do you think you know how to make this sewing machine move? Well, have you ever seen a gas pedal on a car to make a car drive? Well, a sewing machine also has a pedal to make it go. There is a foot pedal on the floor. Do you see that pedal? I'm going to put my foot on it and press it. Did you hear that sound? Let's see if the sewing machine moves when I put my foot down on the pedal. I'm going to press my foot on the pedal, and I want to see if you can see if the machine moves. Whoa! Do you see how fast the sewing machine needle stitches? It stitches really fast. A sewing machine can sew much faster than sewing by hand with a hand needle and thread. But it's the same way. When you sew your material, you must turn it inside out. Because you see all of the thread stitches? You don't want to see those threading and stitches on the outside of your clothes. So we do the sewing on the inside, and then we turn it right side out, you don't see the stitches. Let's see how you're supposed to sew material on a sewing machine. You gotta take your hand here to guide the material under the needle. Wow! The sewing machine goes much faster than sewing by hand. Friends, I hope you enjoyed learning how to sew with me. And you can get your parents or your grandparents or anyone that you know that knows how to sew help you. And you can even try to make a costume for Halloween. That's right, friends. Halloween is next week. So you can try to sew and make something new with something old. Go ahead, friends. I challenge you. Show me what you made.